Welcome back. This is part 3 of the Moleskine journaling series, and in today's topic we are going to discuss soul writing. So I have all these pages bookmarked here to share with you my personal writing style and how I lay out my pages for morning journalings. By the way, I'm curious to know, have you tried the 30-day challenge card? And if so, how's it working for you? Do you find that you're a little bit more motivated to work through some of the goals that you have planned? Is it keeping you accountable for some actions that need to be followed up on? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let's look at the monthly spread. I had a few of you message me saying that this overall layout was very helpful with your own Moleskine journal, and you really liked this layout for your own goal tracking or habit tracking. So I'm glad that that was useful for you. Now let's talk about the actual writing and journaling style that I use. Now this is a journal, so I have used it for light bullet journaling before for like errands and whatnot, but as the months came, I realized that I gravitated more towards just spilling out my emotions, my day-to-day feelings, my experiences, so it kind of became like my soul writing book. It also ties in a little bit with art journaling. So some days where I don't feel like writing a lot, if it's just like a current thought or a theme, I'll just put like a little quote or a little blurb on the page. Also, some days I'll just write out some journalings that I found inspiring from other authors or books. Some days are just like little notes to self and reminders of how I can improve and better the journey that I'm on. But then there are those deep soul journalings that I just find myself in. It's like a writing trance. Once I'm in it, all of the fears and insecurities spill onto the page, but it's also a great way for me to have that inner dialogue and work through whatever challenges that I know I can overcome, but I just need to put onto paper and have a general overhead. A lot of my journalings I find have questions. They're really nice because then in time when I flip through, I can always reflect back onto that particular moment in time and kind of decipher what I was struggling with or whatever obstacle I was trying to work through. Now I'm curious to know, with your journal, do you find that you write way more when you are kind of in a space of the unknown or like a fear or lack? Because I noticed that days where I'm really happy and grateful, I do more of like a gratitude list, or I'll just track it in my gratitude journal. Or if it's something that brought me happiness, I'll note it on my monthly layout. But for days where I'm just feeling lost or I just need more guidance, that's where I turn to the magic of the blank pages. Do you find yourself writing more as well when your heart is really heavy? Or do you write more when your heart is full of joy and, abundance and happiness? One thing that has pretty much remained the same with my journaling style is that I don't really write in one direction. Maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, I was really into lined pages because I really wanted to keep my writing perfect and uniformed. But now I just realize it's really for my eyes only. I really don't care. And to be honest, when I look at the spread at a glance, my eyes just kind of pop at the different direction and ink color. So I'm more likely to read the full spread as opposed to having it all looking the same, and I might get lost in the blur of the same looking pages or lines. Okay, now one other thing that I do, if it's not a particular art journal spread like this, where I just have quotes all over the place that resonate with how I'm feeling that day or that week or that month, there are days where I will put a title. So that is one little secret journaling trick that I do. I will put a little label as to what the overall journaling message or theme is going to be about. So if I don't have time to read the individual paragraphs or blocks, I know right here, I typically write on the left side with a label. I'll know what it's about and what those emotions were for that morning or that afternoon. So right here, I can see that I labeled it as success. And then this spread overall is just talking about how I felt for that particular incident. Now this spread here, I can see it was about fear at first. So here I'm just writing about whatever my emotions were for that time. And then I remember when I was journaling this spread, as I was writing towards the end, I kind of realized that it led to strength. So the theme changed and shifted from one to another. So it's really neat because when I look at this at a glance, first it's one topic and then it leads and finishes off to a different topic. Now, not every day is going to have, you know, all of these layers of writings. Some days I just do some light writing, some art journaling, just some painting. And then another reason why I love this Moleskine page is because of the blank. It kind of leaves that little bit of room here. It's easier on the eyes and it allows me the freedom to kind of go with the flow and go with however I feel is right for that journaling session. See right here, I labeled it again, lost. So that is how I was feeling for that day. And you can see my writing style is just not very uniformed. It's just however I feel for that moment. And I don't know about you, but can you tell how you feel based on the font or the size of your writings? I noticed that whenever I would write like really small, I was really sad or maybe confused. When I write big and sloppy, I'm more frustrated or upset. Or sometimes if I know there's a lot of writings on the page, it could be something that I'm really excited or passionate about. So I'm just curious to know, are you like that as well? Just looking at your writing style, can you tell what type of mood you're in? Now, you don't have to feel pressured to write like I've shown in those previous pages. Some days, if it's just something that you want to get off your chest, like this day, I was feeling all of these emotions, but I didn't care to write out every single detail of why I was feeling that. But it's interesting because when I look at this spread, I can recall that particular moment and why all of these feelings emerged. So it's very interesting how you can capture your emotions onto paper and it could still be sealed onto the pages, but when you kind of look at it, all of those moments in time kind of like spring back out. It's very unique how journaling reveals, you know, subtle secrets and changes that we experience throughout our lives. Or maybe some days, if you don't feel like writing about your emotions, it could be just a really good quote that you came across. I was reading Eat, Pray, Love, and I remember this particular page that I wanted to capture because I just loved it so much. And it's nice because years down the line, when I look back, I'll remember, you know, how this book inspired particular paths into some goals that I, you know, wanted to achieve. And it's nice to see what had inspired me. Sometimes too, if I'm just like scatterbrained and I don't know what to do about something, I'll do like mind mapping. So I'll just throw whatever my frustration is onto the page and then I'll work through the individual, you know, situations. And if you're curious to know what type of pens I enjoy using, I really enjoy any type of click ballpoint. I don't use fountain pens for my journals just because I'm really lazy and I don't want to wait for the ink to dry. And honestly, these cheapy ballpoint pens work just fine, especially the Bic crystal pens or like Pilot or Papermate. Really any type of retractable small ballpoint is my go-to for these in-depth writing. And maybe some days, if you know you want to write and you know your heart is pulling you to just whip out the journal and scribble some words, but you don't know what to journal about or you're stuck in the process, if you just think of some journaling prompts, I guarantee that will get your creative thoughts flowing. And that's sometimes what I do as well. In the morning, when I'm sipping my coffee, when I know that there is something that is waiting to be revealed to me on the paper, I just think of a journaling prompt that is relevant to that particular moment in time of, you know, how I'm feeling, or just a simple, you know, prayer or meditation will reveal whatever I need to work through. And then by then I just know what prompts to write out and to list out for me to reflect on. So not every page is going to have, again, you know, all these paragraphs of deep writings. Also, another thing I'll do, if there's something that I want to jot down, I won't be afraid to just put it on a piece of paper, a blank, you know, spread, and then come back to it. It's okay to capture something and then add on to it later. I do that lots of times. And it's not always pretty or, you know, decorative. Like right here, I have this journal spread, but you can see I have all of these, you know, this empty space left, but it's kind of nice. It's just nice and simple, and it still catches my eye. And it's interesting because when I look at this, I can still recall the particular day and time of how I was feeling and what I was going through. All right, so I hope that has inspired you with your journaling journey and has given you some ideas on how you can grow your journaling style. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'm so excited and I love hearing from you. In the last video of the series, I'm going to do a more in-depth final flip through and share with you some of my art journaling spreads within this book as well. So today was just more how I do my personal soul writing, and I'm curious to know if some of these practices you incorporate as well or find yourself doing. And as always, I appreciate and value your support, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.